Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to be comparing the two versions of the Benatar that we've gotten from the LEGO Marvel Superheroes line. There have been two versions of this set, one from 2018 we have down here, and one from 2021, the one up here. Now, you might be thinking, hang on, I don't remember Thor and Rocket and Groot being in the 2018 one. Now, that's because I'm actually comparing two sets as one versus the 2021. From 2018, we have 76107, the Thanos Ultimate Battle. This set has 674 pieces, retailing for $69.99 USD or $70, and contained 4 minifigures, that being Thanos, Iron Man, Gamora, and Star-Lord. Attached to that is set number 76102, Thor's Weapon Quest. That's the escape pod on the back that hooks up to this set. That one retailed for $19.99 USD or $20, has 223 pieces and 3 minifigures, that being Thor, Rocket, and Groot, along with this side build right here. I decided to combine those together to make the set complete, as that was always the intention, and I feel like it's not an adequate comparison to the 2021 version unless you mix them together. Speaking of the 2021 version, that's set number 76193, the Guardian Ship, with 1,901 pieces, retailing for $149.99 USD or $150, has 6 minifigures, a Chitauri, Mantis, Thor, Star-Lord, Groot, and Rocket. This set is intense. It's a little bit larger than the 2018 model, even when you combine both sets together. And, oh, shoot, wait, my bad. Hang on. We also have set number 30523, the Guardian Ship from 2018, with 69 pieces, retailing for $3.99 USD or $4, with no minifigures. Definitely have to compare this one as well. Here, let's get these guys out of the way and make some room there. What do you guys think of that one? So those are all three of the instances that LEGO has created the Benatar. I'm not actually going to be comparing the polybag one. That was just there for jokes, you know. But pulling that aside, we're going to be evaluating the two sets, and I'm going to count the two separate sets of 2018 as one set. From now on, it's just going to be referred to as the 2018 Benatar versus the 2021 Benatar. Now, we're going to be comparing these sets on several different categories. We have minifigures, side builds, main builds, playability, display, my opinion, and of course the final verdict, which I will add up the columns and see which one is the better set. So without further ado, let's clear out these builds and take a look at just the minifigures. Alright, so for our first category from the comparisons, we have the minifigure section. Now, there's an uneven amount of minifigures. The 2018 one has slightly more, although there's a lot of similar characters and overlap. Both sets do contain a Star-Lord minifigure. These Star-Lords are very similar. The newer one has the updated facial print that was used for the Owen Grady character in Jurassic World, as well as Peter Quill in this set. I think that works much better than the original face they gave him that was shared with like the Winter Soldier and everything. I think the jacket prints are pretty much interchangeable. However, the 2021 version has the dual molded legs and a slightly more accurate color for the gun, so I think this version of the character is slightly better, but both sets do include a Star-Lord. Both sets also do include a Groot minifigure, and I think, again, the 2021 minifigure is slightly better. While it doesn't have an accessory, there is leg printing here, as well as feet printing and hip printing, which the 2018 model lacks. And the coloring, while I don't necessarily like it, I mean, it works, and I think maybe brown would have been the better choice. However, I think the detail in this figure is really, really good, and the printing is everything is so much more intricate, and it's definitely the better figure. These sets also share a Rocket Raccoon. Now, Rocket Raccoon from 2021, I don't like. I like the head mold a lot more. I think the brown fur is better than the gray. However, I hate the torso print. It's all solid gray. The arms or hands should have been a different color. I much prefer the torso on the 2018 version. So that one's a little better, but you know, both minifigures are pretty much comparable. And then the last minifigure that overlaps is going to be Thor Odinson, and the Thor minifigures here are so different. It's hard to believe they're the exact same character, just because you know how much has changed between them all. I definitely prefer the 2021 version, although both models have an awful design for Stormbreaker, literally atrocious, but I like the hair and cape and everything much better for 2021. And although 2018 does have the Power Blast pieces, which the 2021 set lacks drastically. So 2018, kudos to you for having the Power Blast pieces. Now, once you remove that, notice that was 4 minifigures that were, you know, kind of commonplace. And that leaves us with 2 unique minifigures for the 2021 set, and 2 unique minifigures and 1 unique Big Fig for the 2018 set. Now, from the 2000, two minifigures that are kind of comparable, I guess. From 2018, you have Gamora, and 2021, you have Mantis. Both are female members of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and they have similar, designs of exclusiveness. I mean, Mantis got her hair mold. Gamora's got her really great leg and torso printing and everything. Very nice inclusions. I really wish we had gotten Gamora in the new set. I understand why they didn't, and I'm also kind of sad we never got Mantis in the original set as well. Although, once you pull those away, you're left with Thanos and Iron Man and a Chitauri. Yeah, those aren't even remotely. I was kind of able to compare Gamora and Mantis, but I'm not at all able to compare that. So I think the minifigure point has definitely got to go to 2018, just because there's more minifigures, and while I don't necessarily like them as much, I think 2021, the figures are overall way better, much more detailed, and incredibly accurate. 2018 has Thanos, the big Thanos. They've got Iron Man. They've got Gamora, who arguably is a much more important member of the Guardians than Mantis. They got the Power Blast pieces for play, and I just think the quantity here is better than the quality. And while these minifigures are my personal favorite, the point, like I said, definitely has to go 2018, just because they fit a better story. And I mean, of course, we get Thanos and Iron Man, and here we're just stuck with a stupid Chitauri minifigure, which really should have been Drax. But that's all I got to say on the minifigure part. So let's move over to the side build section. All right, for side builds from 2018, we have a admittedly downsized and kind of inaccurate, but still pretty cool Nidavellir Forge, equipped with an Infinity Stone in the back, the Power Stone. While not accurate to the scene this appeared in, it's nice to get. And we also get a model of the Infinity Gauntlet here. Now you get the Reality Stone and the Power Stone in both of these sets. And of course, the set comes with a ring of 4 of them, so you get 4 of each stone. And there's a very nice base here to hold the gauntlet as well, if you don't want Thanos to be currently wearing it. And then from 2021... nothing. So, by virtue of there are side builds and there aren't side builds, I'm going to have to give the point to 2018 here. These side builds are great. While it's not necessarily anything too hot and heavy, it's still nice to get at least some representation for Nidavellir, and the Infinity Gauntlet stand and everything here is phenomenal. I love that mold. It's great. And I get why 2021 doesn't have any side builds and everything, because it's strictly for display, but it still would have been nice to maybe, get something. But what we got here definitely won 2018 the point. All right, and now it's time to take a look at the main builds. So we have 2 main builds. We have ship number 1 for 2018 and ship number 2 for 2021. Now, the main difference between these builds is that 2021 has a display stand. I'm going to be removing the ship from that and not counting that in this portion of the comparison video. So let's just pull this off. There we go. And clear that stand out of the way. Now we just have 1 ship. And they're both huge and barely fit on screen together, but here's what we have. We're going to take a look at 2018 first real quick, give you my thoughts, and then I'll shift over to 2021 and give you my thoughts on that one. All right, 2018, a very excellent model. On the top, we have 2 stud shooters that launch purple studs. The wings are built up very nicely and have posable aspects on the end. You can move them up and down in any way you want, and they do split as well, which is very nice. The front cockpit lifts up this very nice printed piece, and you can also lift up the main build as well. And that's on a hinge, so when you lift that, it stays up, and there's no need to keep moving it or anything. There's a little escape pod that pops out that you can fit both minifigures on, being Star-Lord and Gamora, or, any other combination of the Guardians, and you can slide that in and out as you please. Spinning this around to the back, you can see that there's actually a escape pod ship here, and you can open that to access it, or you can actually pull up these 2 things, and that detaches, and that's a separate little ship build. This was the other set that kind of connects this, the $20 one, and I'm just including it because, the ship looks pretty barren without it, not gonna lie, and also it was always intended to be part of the set. So pulling that aside, we'll take a look closer at that in a second. The actual Guardian ship has these flaps that can be moved if you don't want them facing backwards. Then there's a little gangplank. Put that down. You can walk straight into the center of the ship there. There's actually enough room to place the model of the Infinity Gauntlet inside, and that affixes on 1 stud. If you don't want that, you can always pull that out. Then the roof actually does pop open as well. You can pull off this platform piece. That just lifts off, and that gives you very nice look into the center of the ship there. There are 2 chairs included. Let's get some more light over there. There are 2 chairs included. You can fit different minifigures on, along with some very nice stickers on the interior as well. The underside of the ship has some pretty good detailing. I like the little propulsors, and I think it's a very nice use of the purple and translucent blue pieces. Very accurate. And setting that aside, we actually have the smaller model here. This has 2 more stud shooters, and the roof also detaches as well, although it does have a habit of breaking and not detaching completely accurately. So if you want to just pop that off, you can always do that. On the inside, there's enough room to fit 3 minifigures, that being Rocket, Groot, and Thor, who are included in the set, and both the front and the back do open. That will allow you to walk straight through all the ships, and you can kind of see all the way through. And it looks very complete now, and it's very good for playability. You can grip the sides here reasonably well and swish it around. It's got some great swishability, and at the time of its release, it was one of the biggest and best ships we've gotten, aside from maybe a Quinjet or 2. I'm just a really big fan of the way this ship looks, and for a long time, it was my favorite LEGO Marvel set, just because I always loved the Guardians. I think this ship build was incredibly accurate. And then we got 2021. Now, while the 2018 set was based off of Infinity War, the 2021 model is based off of Avengers Endgame. The ship is basically the same. They both are representations of the Benatar, the newest version of the Guardian ship, which originally first appeared in the Infinity War movie. However, this is a much larger version of the set. This is only 1 set, not 2 sets combined, and most notably, this set does not have a detachable escape pod. There is only the basic ship, and in the back, as opposed to an escape pod, you have these very nice propulsion thrusters, which are accurate to what the thing looks like in the movie. In the actual movie, the escape pod was kind of located here, and it would drop down, not out the back, and it always had these thrusters. For playability, it was sacrificed to have the escape pod, and I completely understand that and don't fault the set for that. Starting at the front, we have the exact same cockpit piece, this time in translucent purple as opposed to the clear, and you can lift that up to have access to the interior, or like the last set, you can lift up the cockpit piece. However, it doesn't stay open. That's where I think 2018 is slightly better, because if I'm trying to put minifigures in here and it keeps closing on me, it's not great. I drastically prefer that other version. The seats here are very accessible, though. We have a very nice chair for Star-Lord and some standing room for Rocket, and he fits very well. You can also put them in if you do this, so it's a little more difficult to do. This does not detach. There's no little tiny ship in there. The wings are not posable. You can push up the bottom ones if you don't want to have them down, or you can move them down, but these top wings are fixed in place and you can't move them at all. They bend a tiny bit, but that's just the nature of the Lego pieces. They're not meant to. On the bottom, we have very large propulsion discs. These are slightly improved from the original design, larger, and use 2 different translucent pieces. I think I like the look of them a lot more. And of course, there's a ton of different translucent pieces on the thrusters in the back. The ship is covered in different greebling and detailing elements. There's not a stud left untouched. Everything has a little purpose, and I love the triangular pieces. These just weren't available when the original set was produced, and I think they are used reasonably well in this one to get some very nice angles. There are 2 different parts of this set that you can remove to access the interior. The first one will pull off the back piece here. This lifts straight up, and then this one also lifts straight up. And then it's 1 solid compartment with a supporting base in the center there, and you have enough room to fit both Guardians up front. There's 2 chairs here. There's a large standing walkway, and then a pretty open spot in the center there. Let's get you some more light so you can kind of see that. And that's everything that's on the interior. There's a coffee machine, a little computer looking for Gamora, some tables, and a lot of grips to put weapons as well. There's definitely much more room on the interior of this ship than the last one, and you can fit pretty much every single minifigure included in the set, and you could probably squeeze 1 or 2 more in as well if you wanted. The boosters on the back are affixed using some hinge joints, as well as also attached using these extra clips to kind of just hold them in place. They do not move unless you want them to move, and that's very, very good. They're not loose or flappy or anything. Some parts of them can move if you want, but they're not really meant to. They're kind of meant to just stay in place there, and it's just used to get different angles and everything. The ship design is phenomenal, and I love how much room and everything there is inside. I think it's definitely larger than 2018, and I think larger in this case, bigger is definitely better. Larger is better. These are 2 of my favorite Marvel sets of all time, but putting them next to each other, I gotta give the point to 2021. For the main build, 2021 takes the cake. Size just beats it out. There's so much detail, and you can just see from the tops of the ships and everything, there's just so much more space. I mean, they had almost 2,000 pieces compared to less than 1,000, and it really, really shows. That's not to say this model is bad or anything, more on that in the final verdict, but this one is definitely the better main build. All right, and now it's time to take a look at the next category, playability. The 2021 model has a display stand and looks amazing on display, and has 6 minifigures, 5 heroes and 1 villain. Over in 2018, we have 7 minifigures, including a Big Fig villain, Thanos, the main villain of the MCU and of the respective movie. We have the Infinity Gauntlet and a side build, as well as a play scale ship with a detachable escape pod and room for all the minifigures. The story, I think, for playability lends itself much better to 2018, simply because you can reenact the Guardians splitting, going to nowhere, and going to Nidavellir, excuse me. You can get Thor Stormbreaker, create that weapon, and the escape pod detaching is a great play feature. You can play with 2 different people because they each can have a ship. You get Thanos, the big bad, and just the Big Fig there, the villain, is so much fun to verse against all the heroes. I think minifigure count-wise, it doesn't really matter, and you do have to take into account there's 2 different sets here. The fact you get the Infinity Gauntlet here as well is insane, along with 2 stones. Then Iron Man looks great. He's got a ton of different Power Blast pieces, so does Thor. Versus no Power Blasts, just the minifigures and display. 2021 is definitely meant for display, and I think 2018 definitely beats it out, gets the point for the playability category. The villain, the different play features, the fact that you can separate the ships, it's definitely meant for playability and gets the point for that one. However, because of this display stand, and how gorgeous and large the ship is, and how damn good it looks on display, I mean, look at this thing. Just look how good it looks on that stand, just kind of standing off the distance and everything. Standing, see what I did there? Anyway, the point for display is definitely going to 2021, no contest. The ship just looks arguably so much better. You saw that in my main build category and everything, and definitely point to 2021. All right, and with that, it's time for my opinion. Currently, the score stands as 3 points to 2018 and 2 points to 2021. My opinion time. Okay, that's tough. Both of these sets are phenomenal. And for a very, very long time, 2018 was my favorite LEGO set of all time. I love the Benatar. I love the Guardians of the Galaxy. Well, I would have preferred a Milano. I really, really like this ship, and I thought the minifigure selection was phenomenal. However, when I saw the images leak out for this set from 2021, I was blown away. They took my favorite set and they blew it up. They gave it a display stand. They revamped all the minifigures. And while I did give the minifigure point to 2018, these are such better versions of those characters. They just have more variety, and Gamora and Thanos and everything. So I think, from my opinion, personally, I would choose this set over this set any day of the week. For my opinion, 2021 gets the point. And that segues right into the final verdict. And for the final verdict, it's a tie. 2018 and 2021 both have 3 points, so everything's tied up. And I think, honestly, that makes a lot of sense. Both of these sets are some of the best examples of LEGO Marvel. We have an amazing ensemble cast of characters, some great Guardians with some cameos from the Avengers, some really great villains, and 2 drastically different versions of the same set. One is an amazing play set for kids, and one is a phenomenal display set for adults. And both of them have their own merits, and I'm really glad I have both of them, especially because combining them, you get, the best cast of characters. Let's just drift Gamora over here, and, that's so great. Oh, of course, we're still missing Drax, which is unfortunate. I really wish one of these sets to come with Drax, because we definitely need a revamp of his character. Besides that, though, I'd rate both of these sets a solid 10 out of 10. Every single one is absolutely perfect, and I have no complaints about either one. From a comparison standpoint, I know it's not the most satisfying to get a tie, but I think a tie is definitely warranted in this place. Make sure to leave your thoughts about these sets in the comment section down below. Which one's your favorite? Which one do you hate? Which one do you love? Who was the better minifigures? I mean, honestly, just tell me what you think would have won for each category, because I'd love to hear from you. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm right. I think it's always fun to discuss this in the comment section down below. Personally, I do prefer 2021, but there are definitely some aspects of 2018 that are even better. That's all I got for you guys today, though. I just wanted to compare 2 of my favorite LEGO Marvel sets of all time. Make sure to stay tuned for more LEGO Marvel reviews, different things with the new CMFs coming up, and of course, a ton of other LEGO comparisons from different themes like Harry Potter and Ninjago. Thank you guys, and have a fantastic and safe rest of your day. I'll catch you all in the very next video.